Welcome to track number one. It is track number one. We're live from the Great Southern Slam for 2018. My name is Pants. I'm soon to be joined by Psycho Daiko. And we are going to just quickly run through the teams for our next upcoming battles between the Van Diemen Rollers and East Vic Roller Derby. It's Division 3 action, and we can't wait to bring it to you. Just clocking down to the end of the minor rounds, and we are all set for finals action from this afternoon. Let's quickly run through the teams. We've got East Vic Roller Derby, the Witches of East Vic. It is 09 Cat o' Nine Tails, 10 Cinderella, 100 Lexa, 12 Altered Skates, 13 Mad Downer, 16 No Love Ninja, 1617 Raven Waller, 3 is Billy Goat Rough, 351 Push Up Bra, 55 Cupcake, 666 Spawn of Skaten, 68 Dread Zeppelin, 7 is Jack Spite, 71 Pushy Tat, 73 Jane Saw. Benchies for today are Beth, Eve, Elena, Claire, and Bubblegum Blitz. For the Van Diemen Rollers, we have 1010 Zen Doggo, 112 Jungle Muffin, 131 Grazed Anatomy, 309 Morg Anna LaFay, 333 Danger Mouse, 420 Roller Doobie, 5 is Loki Motive, 64 Slamby, 666 Z Beast, 8 is Bootyful, 82 Reckamrini, 881 is 5 Foot, and we got Batmangle, Dinosaur, Deanne Radford, and Meg Hearn on the benches. We've got skaters going around and around. How about that? So we've got a whole bunch of people going around. Let's see who's skating. It is the Witches of East Vic with Lee Jam by the looks, and points on the board. That is 6-8. Dread Zeppelin doing the early damage. Let's see who the other jammer is. It looks like it is number 5. That's Loki Motive. And no points on the scoring pass there, and an extra 2 for the Witches of East Vic. So it is... That was the second scoring pass, I'm afraid. So, yes, Van Diemen Rollers on 4, Witches of East Vic on 6. Let's have some fun here. So, we've got Reckamrini, and we've got Billy Goat Rough for the Witches. So, let's get it on. 5 seconds is the call, and here we go. So, both jammers opting to take an inside line, initially anyway, but yeah, some very agile blocking going on here up. Nice work from the Witches, keeping the Van Diemen Rollers situated at the back of the pack. Their jammer gets through. So Billy Goat Rough on the first scoring pass, heading around track 2 to meet the Van Diemen wall, and meet as she does inside, and forces a penalty against the blocker. So who is heading to the bin? It is Jungle Muffin. And one of the Witches blockers also heads to the bin. And as we head down, there's another whistle blown. So things pretty rough for the Witches of East Vic blockers. They have only one left on the track at this juncture. And she's taken out by her own jammer. That's sort of not how you play it, but that's quite all right. Let's keep going around and around and around. And both jammers now on scoring passes as we went down to the end of the second jam. Billy Goat Rough not calling it, just willing to keep going to get as many of her Witches blockers back on track. One is still standing and one heading back to the bin. So Witches of East Vic in all sorts of trouble with the blocking at the moment, and the penalty box getting a heavy workout. So it's all right. The penalty timer has a beard, so he's going to be all right. Billy Goat Rough still going around. 4 more points. 112 for the Van Diemen Rollers sitting down. That's Jungle Muffin again. So I think that's a couple of penalties for her now. And winding down, just a couple more seconds left in the jam. So even having lead, opting to play out the full 2 minutes, or when you're young and fresh and you're full of beans early on the Sunday morning, why not? Psycho Daiko, how you going?
Hi. Fabulous. I love sprinting between tracks.
Hey, you're wearing a superhero costume. You can do it. You should have been flying between tracks.
Look, it's a no-fly zone around here. Apparently they don't like you flying around the showgrounds. Something about some anti-terrorism laws or something.
Fair enough. That's quite all right. An official's timeout. The Jammers mistaking it for the initial whistle to start the jam. Always love those false starts. Hee.
Danger Mouse and Altered Skates were like, yes. Oh, no. All right, cool.
No, sorry.
We'll come down. Sorry.
Now, so already the Van Diemen's changing up their typical jammer rotation. Danger Mouse on with Altered Skates. Let's get it on for real.
Shout out. Hi, Lowrider. Welcome. Thank you for joining us here on track 1 this morning.
Sweet.
Saying go VDR, you can do it.
Well, they're not far behind. It's only 10 points in it at the juncture. We'll start of Jam 3.
Altered Skates, so does have the lead out in front. Altered Skates, a super strong jammer. I watched a few of her games yesterday and just a powerhouse.
Awesome. Yeah, she's definitely looking confident. Beautiful step through on the inside line and picks up 4 points.
Danger Mouse now trying to find an opening to get some points on the board as well. Oh, and the inside line opens right up. Excellent work there. Her blocker with the assist.
Pushy Tat doing some great blocking in the middle there. And also just leaning in just to give her jammer a way through. So good inside line control from Pushy Tat.
Danger Mouse coming around for another scoring pass again. Oh, Danger Mouse copping a massive hit there to the outside. That was push-up raw.
And we do have another witch heading to the penalty bin. So you got to keep an eye on these things. They're dominating the scoreline, but you don't want to be dominating the penalty count either this early in the period.
Yes, I did have one witch go in, one witch come out. And that looks like that is Dread Zeppelin out there with the pivot Pantheon. Taking out Danger Mouse and forcing her to go a long way back around the track.
Both jammers getting some recycling action going on as well.
You guys are big on that here in South Australia, right? Recycle, save the planet.
Maybe it's a Queensland thing. There's a lot of splattering that goes up on the roads up there.
Altered Skates just cruising along.
Lovely.
Thought she was out in the middle of nowhere. Nobody anywhere near her.
Nope.
And 5 foot.
That was fantastic.
5 foot of grunt, I would say. That was a
5
hell
foot
of a
and
slam.
rising. That was amazing. Yeah. That'll get the adrenaline pumping. At the moment, 42 plays 20 ticks. So the East Vic in the front. And Van Diemen's picking up the rear, but not by much. There's only one power jam in it. Barely a power jam.
And that'll bring Locomotive to the line, going head-to-head against Cupcake from the Witches.
Alrighty. And it looks like the very quick movement of the defense has drawn a cut track penalty against the Van Diemen Rollers. So Cupcake has the cupcake in her pocket, so to speak. That's not a euphemism. She literally has a cupcake in there.
It's got extra sprinkles as well.
Hey.
Just watch her. She leaves a trail of them as she goes flying past.
But some good defense here from Van Diemen. They're making it very hard. She's only just managed to get through, and that was, a full 30 seconds. So that was a pretty good D. Chewing up the penalty against their own jammer, and she makes her way back onto track now.
With the running start out of the penalty box there from Locomotive, and she came around with a whole lot of speed and then hit on the brakes when she saw the two witches waiting for her, but Cupcake blasting through for another big 5-point pass.
Spawner skating, trying to catch Cupcake as she went through, but Cupcake just a little too slippery.
Oh, Cupcake sliding around the outside using Nana Ninetails.
Yeah, she's done that again like a couple of times here. She's really made effective use of the outside space afforded on the apex.
Oh, trying to find that outside line is Locomotive, but it is a coven of witches shutting her down. Cupcake.
A lot going on turn 1 right now. A lot of battering going on. One of the witches hits the deck, bounces straight back up.
Our jammers are in amongst all of that action. It is Locomotive that's coming out, but Cupcake comes out in front with the 4 points apiece.
So Witch is just happy to keep just building their lead, faith in their blockers, allowing a few points to go by the wayside.
Oh, Cupcake powering around. Beautiful work on the outside there.
Yep, Skate unable to stop us. So
Ooh.
as we come to the end of the jam, it's a lot of points to not as many points.
So
17 to 4 by the looks.
Sorry, at the end of that jam, we have Locomotive heading to the penalty box and joined by Jungle Muffin. Jungle Muffin was called for a directional play just on the whistle.
Yep.
And Locomotive, I think, was called for a cut track just before that, so she was slow to get to the penalty box. But Dread Zeppelin will be excited to start off on a power jam from the line.
Of course. It's the jammer's dream. You just line up and it's just like, I'm by myself and I like it.
And it's got the blocker advantage as well with the 4-3 to the Witches.
Yeah, so you can see the Witches just doing that side-by-side 2+2 formation. If you're surrounded by white, if you're a black blocker like this, it's going to be like, what are they going to do? We're surrounded. But I'm sure it's all going to be fair.
It's all well and good until the Witches start chanting, and then I'd be a little
And then they bring out a
concerned.
cauldron
Yeah.
and the pickled lizards, and it's just like, it's all on.
Eye of Newt.
I have Newt. I Newt. Ah! Okay.
Oh,
That's my
God.
first and only bad pun for today. Okay.
Don't tell lies like that. Dread Zeppelin trying to find a way through. It is a power jam, but she is being effectively shut down so far by the Van Diemens. Doing a great job. And now the Witches coming in for the assist. There's 2 left, but she finds a way through the inside, gets a lead, Dread Zeppelin.
Good blocking by the Van Diemens, though. It took 3/4 of a track and it basically chewed up the whole of that jammer penalty. So well played, Van Diemens.
That was beautiful synchronization there as well from Jungle Muffin and Locomotive.
Star
Working
pass is
perfectly.
complete. So Jungle Muffin has picked up the helmet cover for Van Diemen Rollers and she's off and skating.
Now, it'll be interesting to see if the Witches will just continue trying to rack up these points or if they'll call it off, but it looks like they're just going to be happy with getting these points on the board.
It's something we've been seeing from a lot of teams this week, and when you think they might call a jam, they want to just do churn and burn derby, they actually just start to win these long jams going early on, especially in a tournament. This is everyone's second game, of course, as well. If you think you've got the fitness and the other team doesn't, you want to try and just drag it out of it. You want to see if you can tire them out early.
See who's ready to go the distance for the entire game.
It also helps if you've got a deep roster as well, and both teams do have a fairly deep roster. So, Witches of Eastwick with just a couple of extra players to go through and to draw upon as the bout just goes on a bit.
And Altered Skates yesterday was one of the jammers that was happy. Pretty much every time she came out with the star on was doing a 2-minute jam. She was getting the lead nearly every time, and she was just happy to just keep skating.
That's astonishing athleticism.
Oh, she was a machine.
It's this sort of thing that just makes you in awe of all of the skaters on track, just seeing them go time and time again.
Billy Goat Ruff is wearing a star out there for the Witches, and she is head-to-head against number 82.
Yeah, that's Raccarini, and she's currently lead on a scoring pass. So we'll see what she decides to do. Is she going to continue skating? And looks like she is content to just try and rack up her own points, but it is Witches of Eastwick. That is Pushy Tat, I think, or Chainsaw.
Billy Goat Ruff.
And it's a cut track penalty, so perhaps not the best strategy. So now Billy Goat Ruff has a power jam.
That is the risk you run when you are going to try and skate these jams out. There is always that potential that you're going to get the cut track and just give the opportunity over to the opposition.
And it's exactly how it's played out here. So Witches of Eastwick looking to stamp their authority now. Receiving the arm whip. That's 3-5-1. That was push-up Ra, but did an arm whip straight into the opposition player, chest front. That knocked the wind out of your sails a little.
Not quite what they were looking for, and it really did knock Billy Goat Ruff. She looked up and looked at her referee and was like, please let me call it, please. I can't?
I can't. I'm not the lead jammer. Oh, gosh.
It's always a sad moment. You see the jammers think that they've got the lead, try and call it off and go,
You mean I
man.
got to skate another 45 seconds? And she does, but she's doing it well. She's picked up another 5-point pass.
Wow, Rackamrini was just absolutely thrown off the track there. That was Cinderella. She did get the penalty for it.
But you're going to be thinking about that for the next couple of days.
Oh, yeah.
That
Every
was
time
hard.
she sits down.
All right. Comes to the end of the jam. Currently scores the Witches of Eastwick on 86 points. Van Diemen Rollers on 37. Van Diemen signaling for the timeout. Not a bad idea. It's about 17 minutes left to go in the first half, so it's a good chance to just focus the team, as well as get a couple of drinks and a couple of deep breaths in.
It was a beautiful big 21-point jam there from Billy Goat Ruff.
Well done.
Just consistently just powering away through. Not doing anything too fancy, not going super fast around the track, but just consistently powering her way through. So 21 points is quite a nice little score to put up on the board.
Yeah, 17-point differential. So, yeah, that just boosts that lead. So it's nearly 50 points now. And we're still quite early on in the period, but if you're a Van Diemen fan, send all your healing vibes and do well vibes across the Tasman. We'll be very happy to accept them over here in Adelaide, South Australia. Big, nice little couple of shout-outs from Lowrider to the team here. So, yeah, nice to see you taking part in our Boutcast. And wherever you are around Australia, around this beautiful world of ours, g'day. Welcome.
Thanks for joining us.
Okay, end of the timeout. Skaters are getting back on the track.
And Roller Doobie is on the line wearing the stuff of the Van Diemens up against Altered Skates.
So, yeah, Roller Doobie not a usual jammer for Van Diemen, so they're willing to mix it up a bit just to see if they can get some advantage. And Roller Doobie almost through. And cut. So, yeah, she did. Her skates clearly touched the inside. We could see that from over here. Jam ref all over it. So, Roller Doobie heads to the bin.
And it is Altered Skates now has managed to get the lead. The lead had not been called when Roller Doobie went through. So, Altered Skates with the lead on a power jam. She did cop a few big brutal hits there from the Van Diemens, though, but now just managing to step her way through for a 5-point scoring pass.
Nice to see a few people joining us trackside here with the action today as well. A few people have made the trip across to support their teams.
And that is Morgan LeFay with some great holding of Altered Skates there. And, Roller Doobie back on track, and welcome back from Cinderella.
And another cut track extracted, so even though number 10 Cinderella has picked up her own penalty for not reforming the pack, she's also extracted a cut track penalty, so well played.
But Roller Doobie was released fairly quickly, so I think they may have gone with the failure to reform overriding the cut track penalty.
So a reprieve for the Roller Doobie.
A bit of a psych out for Altered Skates. You have a power? No, you don't. Actually, no power jam for you.
She's looking at her bench as if to say, really? And the bench goes, really? Get on. Score some more points, please.
Just keep skating. 2 blockers apiece left back on the track there. It is Dread Zeppelin doing a fantastic job there for the Witches as Altered Skates just appears out of nowhere.
So both now scoring. And we wend our way to the end of the jam. 19 plays 4. So now the century mark cracked by the Witches of Eastwick. 107 plays 41 for the Van Diemen Rollers.
Altered Skates with another 2-minute jam there, sorry. So I think she's going to do the same thing today. She clearly has her wheat bix every morning, and she is pumped and ready to go.
So how many packs do you think she eats?
I reckon 2 whole packs coated in Milo.
And Vegemite.
Yes.
She's an Aussie girl.
All of the Australian things.
All right, Cupcake back jamming for the Witches up against 112. That's Jungle Muffin. And Jungle Muffin out in front. Picks up lead jam for Van Diemen. So go nuts, VDR fans.
Cupcake taking a brutal hit there from Z Beast. It took her a second to get back up on that outside line. Oh, the inside line wide open there. Beautiful work from Jungle Muffin as Cupcake gets loose.
And gets the points and calls. Smart move. Nice high five from the two jammers to each other as well. Some smiles being exchanged. Love this interleague camaraderie that we see at
I've
the Great Southern
I've seen it
Slam.
on every track so far. You see the massive brutal hits. I walk over and go, "You okay? I didn't kill you. You good? You get back up? No worries. I didn't mean it, man, but I'm going to hit you just as hard next jam, just so you know. All right?"
And
Hey,
the other
let's go.
person just goes, okay, I'll hit you too. And yeah, it's fun.
It's what the Derby's all about. It's what TGSS is all about. Reckham-Reaney now going head-to-head against Altered Skates. Altered Skates being caught at the back by the Van Diemen's, and Altered Skates being called for the forearm penalty that gives
Ooh.
Reckham-Reaney the lead on a power jam.
So she's going to be in a lead of her own. And off we go, rocking and racing. Let's get some points.
Reckham-Reaney being crushed at the front by the Witches. Being forced to release, though, getting out of play. And they have got one of their blockers heading to the penalty box after that.
Just chased a little too hard and a little too long. So
And that
Witches of East Vic probably wishing they could start this jam over again at this juncture, I'd say. 2 in the penalty box for blockers. Jammer just being released. Altered Skates back online. Still has an initial pass to get through before she can score any points of her own.
2 blockers left on track for the Witches trying to hold it. We do have Van Diemen's trying to bridge.
Yeah, they had to let it go. That was just a little too far. No pack was called. And it's a great jam for Van Diemen so far. 14 points and counting.
Oh, and goes for another big. I believe that'll be a 5 in the sky. It is a grand slam for Reckham-Reaney.
19 points. Hey.
Oh.
Now we're getting a game on our hands. Here we go.
We are. It's on. So Reckham-Reaney is racking up the points while we have 5 foot. Was doing a fantastic job holding on to Altered Skates at the back of the pack. I don't believe that Altered Skates made it through for her initial pass.
No, the gesture was made by the jam ref. How many times can you say you've seen that?
I actually haven't seen that yet.
There you go.
This tournament.
So, yeah. I'm sure she'll be back on track soon and she'll be gunning for revenge.
Oh, yeah. She's just going to come out full Terminator mode, charging through. We have a team timeout called by
the Witches. So that actually was probably a smart move, just to make sure. Okay, we didn't have a very good jam. We lost a bit of momentum. We had a 21-point jam against us. Let's kill that momentum quick in the bud. So speaking of killing things quick in the bud, you feel a bit sore in the bud right now? The butt? I mean, the what? If you are feeling a bit sore over the Great Southern Slam Long Weekend, PhysioFit SA have their booth set up over in the marketplace. They're offering massages to all skaters who are feeling a bit sore, and there are going to be a lot of them over this weekend. So I want to do a big shout out to Quack and the gang from PhysioFit. Thank you very much for supporting Adelaide Roller Derby with your physio services, but thanks for extending that courtesy as well to all skaters at the Great Southern Slam. You guys rock. Thank you so much.
And if you are not here at TGSS, but you are in Adelaide, what the hell are you doing? But also, make sure you go and check out PhysioFit at a later date. They are locals supporting locals, so why don't you support them?
All the VDR love coming through on the YouTube feed at the moment. Great to have your support from across the Tasman. Keep tuning in over this long weekend. I hope your team does really well and makes you proud.
We have Locomotive rolling out for VDR and going head-to-head against Cupcake for the Witches.
Oh, their inside line just opening up beautifully, but a cut track penalty. Don't you hate that as a jammer? Just like, yes, inside line. Oh, whoops.
I'm free it, no?
Free it, no.
No. So Cupcake now got the lead and the power jam and has just run into a whole scrum of blockers, everybody just on top of each other, but manages to somehow slip away out. It'll be that creamy icing that goes on top of a cupcake.
It is sweet and tasty and delicious, and it smells like 5 points.
It is 5 points indeed. Oh, almost found that outside line. Did get knocked out, so having to re-enter. Didn't get recycled too far back, so just charging on, but it looks like we do have Locomotive back on track. Straight in amongst the action and coming out for her initial pass.
Yeah, that's that inside line again. Loki able to seize that opportunity that time and make the most of it. Her speed skates are on. She's out and hungry for points.
Cupcake doing some fantastic work, working the inside, working the outside, and finding a way back through to the inside.
And didn't call it, but she did get her pivot back on the track as a result of that. So not not too shabby a maneuver, making sure there is now 5 helpers here. She's keeping an eye on the bench. 1 more left to go, and there she goes. So Cinderella back on track now. We're back to 5.
Fantastic work from the Witches there. They managed to hold on to Locomotive, but Cupcake is copping a whole lot of love from the Van Diemens.
And I think Van Diemen copped a hit to the jaw on the return love there. So she's sitting down as well. So that is Zendogger. Just making sure everything's still in the right place. Yes, I still have a jaw. Yes, this is good.
That's why we wear all of the safety gear. Mouth guards on, people. Protect those pearly whites.
Not to mention all the helmets and pads and everything else. So, yeah, there is a reason all this gear is worn. That's one of them. Oh, wow.
Danger Mouse proving that she is an absolute danger, charging at the pack.
Yeah, Danger just chucked herself at the back of the pack there. And
Altered Skates being stopped on the inside, but managed to just shuck off the blockers and get out and lead. She looks so effortless on her skating, but it is so super strong. Oh, Danger Mouse just throwing to the outside.
Yeah, she was tiptoeing through that outside line there, and she's making full use of the diamond as well as she's getting around here. The speed skates are definitely on for Danger Mouse. She is a skater on a mission.
And Altered Skates has managed to power around for her for points, coming around for another scoring pass, as Danger Mouse is still working on her first scoring pass.
Yeah, there's some really effective blocking from Witches of Eastwick. Who is that?
That is Dread Zeppelin standing up face to face against Danger Mouse, just throwing her around.
And a big recycle now on as well. So, yeah, Dreads is just amazing.
Dread's a very effective jammer yesterday as well, so she is a force to be reckoned with.
Meanwhile, Van Diemen's doing their thing up the back here. That is 6'4" Slamby. And looks like just a little too far behind the pack. So both the blockers there have been called for a penalty.
That's leaving 5 foot out the front, holding it all alone for Van Diemen's.
Yeah, Grazed Anatomy was the other Van Diemen roller who got pinged for that penalty. So double penalty at the end of the jam, not so good. That gives the pack advantage to the Witches of Eastwick to start our next jam. 14-4 on that jam sees the Witches of Eastwick now on 135 points versus 80 for the Van Diemen Rollers.
And that will bring Reckham Reaney to the line for Van Diemen's, going head-to-head against Lexa, wearing the star for the Witches. And we've got just over 7 minutes left to go here in this first half.
And looks like Van Diemen just trying to hitch a ride on the Lexa train, but that was a no-can-do. That was a bit of a yeah-nah, as we say. Reckamrini forced to try again, and have called for a penalty now, so power jam now for the Witches.
And Lexa wasting no time in getting around that track, getting those quick 5 points. She looks very determined to get as many points on the board as she can, while there's only the 2 blockers. 1 more now joining the Van Diemen's.
Nice work from her blockers there. Just cleared that outside line. She didn't even have to take the foot off the accelerator.
And here she comes again. She is ready to go fast. Oh, big hit from Grazed Anatomy.
Yeah, oh. Good support from Cat and Nine Tails as well from the Witches here. Just a clear outside spot. And it looks like it is a low block. So Lexa sits down.
Jammer in, jammer out, but Reckamrini did set the full penalty, so that means that Lexa is going to have to set the full 30 seconds as well.
Not sure she did her initial pass, and no, so she had to fight through that chewed up pressure seconds, so now she gets a chance to score some points.
Van Diemen's standing back, giving their jammer time to get through. That was Slamby coming in for the massive assist.
Slamby by name, Slamby by nature. That was powerful.
And Lexa now back on track. Straight into the back of the pack of the Van Diemen's.
Yep, she's on a scoring pass, so everything she does now will get her something. And a whistle there, but yes, another low block to Lexa, so that's 2 in the 1 jam. And it's a double penalty.
Oh, it was a low block followed with an insubordination, was it?
I think Well, she did take a long time to get off the track. Now, if you get a penalty called against you, know it's against you, you've got to make a motion to get off the track as quickly as possible. You can't just lie there and look at the jam ref and go, really? Was it me? Was it me? I'd like to submit a 6-part submission in triplicate to say that it wasn't me. Jam ref's going to say, sorry, we don't have time for that. And why do you have a printer? So it's get off the track or get another penalty. And certainly everything is going to be there's an official review. I would say that's against maybe appealing that double penalty. But really, the officials are all over it this weekend. They are doing their level best to keep everything consistent and strictly by the book. So Psycho Doko's on the track now just to monitor what's going on. And Just a Maniac, being the head ref here, is going to have a listen to the grievance or the query put forward by the Witches of Eastwick by the looks. So we're going to have a bit of a chat. So while we're here, just do a quick shout out to Rydell Skates. Rydell Skates, 70 years and going strong of supporting roller derby with great skates, wheels, bearings, trucks, boots, you name it. They do it, and they have been tremendous in their support of roller derby in Australia and around the world. They have a wonderful stand here at the Great Southern Slam in the marketplace, but you can check them out online as well. They're very open to queries. They do all sorts of amazing things. So please go and support Rydell Skates, proud supporters of the Great Southern Slam for 2018. I'm sure Slamby loves the big hits. We've been treated to an absolute 4-course dinner of Slamby throughout this bout so far, and I'm definitely sure that PhysioFit would love to give her a hand to work out any niggles or pains that she's feeling after the game, as well as any of the other skaters. So the referee's at the moment discussing the query, and we might see what that was about. A lot more action coming up your way. We do have more track one action coming up after this bout. We have RCRD versus SSRG. That is the Killer Bees in action coming up next. And they'll be up against Richter City. So Sun State Richter City, it is going to be a Trans-Tasman bout to remember. Div 2 action coming up your way after this bout on track one. After that, there will be quarterfinals, and at this stage, we don't know who's going to be playing, but this afternoon, we've got 2 lots of quarterfinal bouts, Div 3 and Div 2, and then we get straight into semi-finals, Division 1 and then Division 2. So it's going to be a big afternoon and evening of Derby here coming to you live from track one. So looks just very briefly that the official review has been upheld. So Psycho Doko is now heading back to join us with her cape flapping in the breeze. And we'll just hear exactly what was the result. But it looks like, Psycho Doko, that they won their official review?
They did. They did have a partial win, I would say. So
okay.
They will remove the low block penalty from the Gemma 100. They will not issue a penalty to Black 6-4, which is what they were looking for.
Yep.
But the Gemma will still have to sit her in subordination for not leaving the track.
Yep, and that's only fair because you do have to leave the track. That's such an important thing to do. When you hear that whistle, even if you think it wasn't quite right, the refs are not going to reverse it once they call it.
That's it. But they do get to retain their official review, so it is a win. That means we've got Locomotive starting off solo. Oh,
power jam and power to the floor. Power to the track, I should say, from Locomotive. Here we go.
Head full of steam, and she's charging away.
Excellent stuff. Quickly into a 5-point pass. That's exactly how you do a power jam. Weave through and get as many points as you can before the opposing jammer comes back. Speaking of which, here she is.
So we have a clean penalty box right about now. Everybody on track, which is what we like to see. Oh, Lexa with a beautiful stepping through the inside.
And Locomotive just having none of it. She's there going, nah, I'm just going to call that now. I think I got my points, and she did. So that was a very good track awareness there, recognizing that she got her 4 points. There wasn't any point in continuing the fight. So 9-0. 99 points for Van Diemen now, and 147 for the Witches V-Spix. So only 48 points in it, less than 2 power jams. We still have a game on.
And we have Roller Doobie going head-to-head against Altered Skates. It's going to be interesting to see, actually, because the Witches seem to like the tactic of, once they've got the points, just keep skating, whereas the Van Diemens are doing the hit it and quit it, Joby, get the points and call off the jam, which is closing that gap. So it'll be interesting to see if the Witches stick with their tactic or if they change it up a bit. But they do have a power jam right now. There was a cut track called on Doobie. So it is Altered Skates with the lead on a power jam.
Yeah, if you want someone with a power jam, Altered Skates is definitely the way to go. Here she comes through the pack. Pack fairly mobile, but now just holding it back. So one more blocker to get through.
And that is Slamby.
Yep. Look at that. Able to hold her on for vital seconds here. And the jammer is now back on track. So let's get it on. Roller Doobie now cruising around and looking to make her initial pass.
Grey's Anatomy, Slamby, and 5 foot holding a triangle of terror at the front there, and is now Slamby last one to beat there for Altered Skates.
Roller Doobie, yep. She much better track awareness that time, realizing that her skate did touch the inside, so no cut track penalty for her.
Yeah, you'll tend to start being a bit more aware of your edging once you get a couple of cut tracks called against you.
Yeah. You might hear it from your bench coach as well. So we've got both jammers sent to the back of the pack.
Altered Skates does have 5 points on the board, but it is going to just keep skating. I do believe Roller Doobie has made her initial pass.
Yeah, I think they both have. So it's points on the board for everybody, but you got faith in your blockers there. So even though it's like Morgana Le Fay was stalking Altered Skates, and Altered Skates hits the deck pretty hard flat on her backside, but she's all right. She's got back up straight away.
But I tell you what, she is copping a battering from Van Diemen's. I have not seen Altered Skates be pinballed around the track this much at all. She is quite solid on her skates. So Van Diemen's block is doing a fantastic job to shut her down quite effectively. Only a 10-point jam. Now, I say only a 10-point. I mean, 10 points is still amazing, but only a 10-point jam with nearly a full 2-minute jam as well.
For the nearly full 2-minute jam, and she had a power jam as well. So great work from the VD defense.
And now it is Dread Zeppelin. Oh!
Oh, my word.
The Beast living up to the name.
Oh, my goodness. That was the shoulder of doom. That was amazing. I think she's felt that into next week.
Yeah, she's shaking it off. She's still going hard. Did get the 5-point scoring pass. Wow, that was a massive hit there.
That was extraordinary. That was fun to watch, but I'm glad I'm over here and not over there.
And Reckham Reaney is still trying to fight through for an initial pass. Great work from the Witches.
Yeah, just a nice 2-wall going on here. Very effective communication.
And
from
beautiful
those two
communication
blockers.
From Dread Zeppelin there as well, just letting her blockers know, hold her, but let me around, guys. Just give me a moment.
Yeah, Raven Waller as well for Eastvic doing a lot of damage there in that pack. Excellent stuff.
Z-Beast has been given Z-Star. Let's see if she slams just as hard as a jammer. Oh, yeah, she does.
The answer is yes. the triple sixes going head-to-head, Z-Beast and Spawn of Skaten.
And Z-Beast comes out the wrong end of the whistle there, getting called for the cut track. But it looks like we have 1617 heading to the penalty box. That's Raven Waller as well.
Yep.
But it's a power jam for Dread Zeppelin with the I was going to say pack advantage, but yeah, 2 apiece.
But it does make it easy to get past as well if there's not many bodies to get through, period. So she'll be loving this. And she does get through very easy.
Oh, racking up the points. There is 5 seconds left to go here in this jam, which will be the last jam of this first half.
See if she can get any more. She gets past at least one. So, yep, 4 more points. So, very effective final jam. That is 33 points on the board for the Witches of Eastwick. That brings them to 190. Van Diemen's just one away from the century on 99. What do you reckon, Psycho? We got a game on?
We got a game on. There are
I'm
some
loving it.
beautiful hits happening out there. Everyone's bouncing straight back up as well, though. And
Yeah.
it is some beautiful derby happening right now.
It's the last game of the first round for these teams. It is all to play for.
That's it. Got to leave everything on the track because it might be your last chance.
Hey, you want to make an impact? This is the place to do it. Fantastic. We'll have a break. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
We have just over a minute and a half to go before we get started here on this second half. Then Diemen Rollers on 99 points and the Witches of Eastwick on 190.
Welcome back, guys. Hope you enjoyed your cup of tea. Maybe time for a scone. Bit of jam and cream.
Oh, if someone could bring us some
bit of
tea
marmalade.
and
I
a
don't
scone
know.
with some jam and cream. Oh,
It's perfect on this chilly day in Adelaide, let me tell you.
that would be
But we're
beautiful.
rugged up in our onesies. We are warm and snugs as bugs and rugs. Let's have some fun. Now, we're going to get set for derby action in just a few minutes' time. Looks like Witches of Eastwick starting the second half of the couple in the penalty box and being joined by one of the Van Diemen Rollers.
Not an ideal start to the second half, or to any half really. But if you manage to
Especially
do it
the
in the
first
first half,
half.
you're in all sorts of trouble.
All right, so the Eastwick blockers are standing, so they are not long in the penalty box, so they'll be joining their skaters very quickly after the whistle blows.
Locomotive realising she's standing on the jammer line without a jammer panty. Always awkward getting on the track without your panties.
It does help to match your opponent.
Dred Zeppelin was like, I did see that, but I wasn't going to say anything.
You look nice anyway. Well, thank you. Great spirit being played here today. Just a few high fives, a few smiles being exchanged. Even in the heat of the moment, like, it's good to show that sportsmanship. I'm loving that at the Great Southern Slam this year.
I love it. Yeah, jam on, and they slam the heck out of each other. And then as soon as that whistle blows and it's jam off, oh, you good? Okay, let's go.
All right. Speaking of jam on, let's go.
And
Both
it is.
jammers hit the deck briefly, and it is a penalty. So that's Dreads with the penalty. Locomotive with the chance for making a big start for Van Diemen Roller Derby. Go nuts.
Oh, powering straight through the middle of the pack there. Was not being held back whatsoever. Locomotive with a head full of steam charging around.
Getting some help from Slamby there.
And getting the penalty against the Witches blocker as well.
Interesting momentum shift straight out of the box. You can see the Van Diemen triangle just ready to trap Dreads as she came out of the box here. She is stuck firmly at the back of the pack. And it's another 5 points in the sky being held up. So, yes, Locomotive, 15-point jam so far.
Dread is still trapped at the back, but has found that inside line. Oh, one
She
still
also
left to
found
beat.
another blocker.
That was grazed anatomy with a nice big hit, but Dread just using that momentum to pirouette through the inside.
And of the first jam, it's an 18-point jam to Van Diemen. They are now 117 points, which is on 190.
Van Diemen's definitely still in this game. There is still plenty of time left on that clock to bring that back in.
Yeah, some of these divisional matches have been really close and really well matched. Even when the score hasn't been close, there have been some great matchups throughout.
And it is Van Diemen's with the lead out in front there. That
Yep,
is
so
Jungle Muffin.
Yes,
And Nana Ninetails putting on the star first time.
I do believe so. She's been doing an excellent job of blocking here for the Witches today. But yeah, interesting to see the Witches just trying to change things up a bit, just trying to see what they can do. They've got a lead to play with, but you don't want to play with it too much. That's also what my mum said to me.
Change the ingredients and see what magic can happen. And calling off the jam there, taking I believe that'll be 8 points out of that jam. See, Van Diemen's definitely still going with that tactic of just get the points on the board, call it off, shut down the Witches.
But they're also blocking more effectively at the start here as well. So showing the faith in the blockers, going for that second scoring pass. Instead of a 4-0, you're getting a 5 or an 8 in this case.
And
this is good.
Altered Skates back on the line against Danger Mouse. Altered Skates, very solid, but has been shut down the last couple of jams quite effectively by Van Diemen's. Now getting the assist, and she does get out in front and get the lead.
Yeah, they had the pack advantage that time, so much better for Altered Skates to weave her way through, show her magic. But Danger Mouse is also hot in the heels, so let's see what happens here.
Beautiful heading back on track for VDR. Altered Skates. Oh, wow. That was a massive hit there.
And interesting, Older Skates thought that she had the points, so she didn't get any points. If she got one hit pass, she would have maybe got a couple of extra bench points, ghost points, and didn't get any.
She did get the shanking there on that jam. 3 points to the Van
You got to
Diemens.
get your hips pass.
That's the aim of the game.
So yeah, you got to please the jam ref with your skills here. So Van Diemen's still coming up with the goods. Cupcake up against Recamrini now.
Recamrini taking that massive hit there from Lexa straight off the line, and Lexa, I believe, being called for a directional block. So heading to the penalty box. But Recamrini is not finding it any easier to get around Cinderella there.
Cupcake's just getting slammed and pushed back as well. This is some really great blocking here for Van Diemen's.
And Recamrini has been called for the cut track there off that hit from Cinderella. So
oh boy,
got the long skate around to the penalty box as well. So Cupcake getting some extra seconds there. Lead jammer on this power jam.
Yeah, I'd be approaching that back of the pack with a little more trepidation. She got banged around solidly
And
for that few seconds there.
And VDR definitely do have the pack advantage 4-2.
I actually saw Cupcake approach the pack there with a smile on her face. She's just like, oh, let's do it again? Okay. Now, it looks like, yeah, that was definitely Zabeast getting called for the low block. Nice shoulder block, but she clipped her with the skates. So that she's got to sit down now.
And that one hurt. It took Cupcakes a couple of seconds to get up from that one. Still shaking it off. Oh, and has been called for a cut track.
Really? Wow. So she did get the scoring pass. So there are 5 points on the board for Cupcake at the moment. So when she comes back out, she will be on another scoring pass. But yeah, that's what we call an unforced error. Because should be able to keep your skates in when you're skating around the track.
Yes, it is the number one aim of the game. That
Generally,
points.
that's why they mark it out with tape and stuff.
Yes.
But hey, heat of the moment, who knows what happens? It's a funny old game.
Sometimes these skates have a mind of their own.
They do. Just ask me. I blame my skates all the time.
Cinderella there, just chest to chest, holding on to Recamrini. But Recamrini has now got around, and with that very special thumb movement there, that's showing that was a big 5-point scoring pass.
And points on the board for Van Diemen. So 10 points in all versus 5. So now 200 on the board for the Witches. 133 for Van Diemen. So only 67 points in it. That's a couple of power jams, as we like to say. Truly is.
And it looks like they're just in time at the end of that jam. Cupcakes got released. Not in time to get back on track, but in time to have 2 jammers start this next jam.
And it looks like
there
is some blood on the track.
Oh, it's a Band-Aid.
It's a Band-Aid? Okay.
Ew, it's a Band-Aid.
Yeah, I'd be putting my gloves on for that.
Yeah.
That's icky.
But that's all
at
right.
least there's no blood on the track. That's a good thing. Want to say a big old shout out to Flickoff. Thanks for giving us some witch love here. And VDR, the VDR we know and love. Yep, they play hard and they look great. This is a fantastic matchup. We're loving the feedback that you're giving us on the YouTube feed. Thank you.
It is a very solid matchup here, and it looks like we're going to have the 4-2 pack advantage to VDR out there as well. So Locomotive will be happy with that, and Dread Zeppelin has got a little extra work to do. Dread Zeppelin, though, getting the nod there from her blockers. We are ready. We've got this.
Oh, yeah, this is fun. I'm not sure what the witches were sending back there, but it was funny. Everyone's enjoying themselves here. That's fantastic.
I think the
another
everybody
official's timeout.
I think everybody on the track thought that they'd already had the 5 seconds. They were all pumped and we're going. We don't. Oh, false start.
Get down, get up again. Now it looks like the penalty trackers and the penalty box timers, and they're all just having a bit of a yabba, but a few nods there going as well. So everyone's on the same page. We're ready to go.
So no more false starts. Off and racing. Van Diemen's holding on to Dread Zeppelin on the outside line there. Locomotive.
Oh, here we go.
Charging away.
Got a sniff of it and just went for it. That was fantastic from Locomotive. Recycle on. Dred's being sent to the back to try again.
Oh, taking that hit. Locomotive just stays on track and powers through for the big 5-point pass.
And that was Lexa going off on her hands and knees, making sure she didn't get called for the cut track. She went back and started again.
If in doubt, just crawl out.
Yep. Yield.
Oh, Dred Zeppelin looks to be trying to get the star pass.
And it has been handed off.
That's Billy Goat Ruff now, taking off with the star for the Witches. Oh!
Airborne!
Getting lifted by Slamby.
Wacko. She's glad she put her knee pads on today.
And a Locomotive charging around for another big 5-point pass.
Still not with the star on her head, so if that was a scoring pass, it's going to come to naught. No, it was an initial, so star firmly on now. She's ready to score, but Locomotive wise to it. Calls off the jam, and that is a 14-0 jam in favor of the Van Diemen. So now 53 points in it.
They're just clawing that lead back. They're closing that gap very effectively. The blocker's doing an excellent job there of opening up the lines for Locomotive to give her that big 4-point pass to be able to call it off again.
And the Witches have been doing a great job so far. Yep, there's now a timeout to the Witches. I was just about to say, they've been doing a very good job of recognizing the momentum shift and finding a way to shut it down.
Yes.
And here we go, that effective timeout. It's only early days in the second half. We've got 22 minutes left to play, but they're making great use of their timeouts. They've still got another one left to go after this one as well. So let's see how they make use of it.
And the official review is still up their sleeve as well, which we have seen quite a few teams utilizing the official review as a timeout. But I think they'll be hoping to come out and weave a little magic on the track, the Witches. Hopefully no voodoo. No voodoo allowed.
No, definitely no voodoo. We're going old school Wiccan here. None of that voodoo rubbish.
It's all earth and love, man. It's all about the peace.
And the newts.
Big shout out to the Adelaide Showgrounds. Thank you very much for hosting us once again. We come back here every second year, and if you're in Adelaide and looking for a venue to hold any event, get in touch with the Adelaide Showgrounds. They have all sorts of facilities available, and they house us every second year, and they keep letting us come back, which is just very nice of them.
Basically, if you're in Adelaide, if you've not heard of the Adelaide Showgrounds, you're not in Adelaide. Don't know where you are.
Tasmania.
You're definitely not in Adelaide. All right, we've got Derby on track. It's lead jammer 2 and an apex jump to Van Diemen's. That is Air Danger Mouse.
And she does land it and get the 5 points.
Calls it off. Nata Ninetails in the pursuit there. So, hello, the Van Diemen Rollers have come out, and they are playing some monstrous derby right now.
Sorry, what was that, Witches? You want to shut down our momentum? I'm going to up it even more. That was super fast, and that was a huge jump from Danger Mouse. I mean, she's small but mighty, and apparently she can fly.
Oh, yeah. That's fantastic. I'm loving this. This is awesome.
We have a real fight on our hands here. Lexa trying to charge through. Reckamrini trying to push through. And it is Reckamrini around the outside that does have the lead.
Oh, boy, the momentum is all with Van Diemen's right now. If you're sending the love across from the Tasman, keep it up. It's working. This is fantastic derby.
Van Diemen vibes are working for sure. It's a fast pack to try and catch up to. And Reckamrini decides I'll just take that couple of points.
And hold the Witches to 0. So 154. 200, that gap is just slowly closing.
I don't know what that halftime talk was, but geez, the Van Diemen's have come out firing.
Yeah, whatever was in those oranges, it's working.
Jungle Muffin hitting the line with the star on, going head-to-head against Cupcake. It's a battle of the captains.
Sweet.
Lowrider, you're doing a great job of sending all the VDR vibes. as his hand grenade. Jungle Muffin pushing at the front.
Nice work at the back. Here's the Beast shutting down the Cupcake. Nice try with a whip just to try and whip Cupcake around the side, but it was shut down. Van Diemen, this is awesome.
Jungle Muffin coming around on her scoring pass. Oh, and just gets that opening on the inside line and a big 5-point pass.
You can hand that one over to Slamby and say that was your point. She threaded the opening there and just allowed Jungle Muffin just to skate on through. That was excellent blocking.
And Slamby doing an excellent job once again, shutting down Cupcake. Not quite that time, but she did throw it to the inside line first.
The initial pass was completed, and Van Diemen's call it off with an extra sneaky couple. So
a muffin always beats a cupcake.
Waka, waka, waka. Okay, we're ceding the control of the bout to Lowrider. Excellent. 200 for the Witches, now 161 for Van Diemen.
I believe we've had at least 3 to possibly 4 jams where the Witches have not scored a point.
They've, to be honest, they started this period like on 199. They've added a solitary point, and Van Diemen's have added like 30 odd points so far.
But Dread Zeppelin now got the lead, looking to change all of that for the Witches, bring that momentum back. Now let's see if she'll go the hit it and quit it, or try and stretch it out and get as many points as she can.
She is through for the scoring pass, and the foot is down.
She's going to keep riding.
So once again, faith in the blocking team. Can they take care of things? No, they cannot. No pack is called. So it is points for both.
And Dread Zeppelin coming through for 4 more points. Still going to keep on skating.
And, Rakarini straight through the pack as well. She's like, anything you can do, I can do harder.
Speaking of harder, Grey's Anatomy with a nice big slam there on Dread Zeppelin. She has absorbed it and popped straight back out.
Rakarini runs into a wall of white, and that was No Love Ninja getting amongst that one. That was a nice block.
And not to be outdone, Raven Wallher now coming in to throw Rakarini to the sidelines. Push up Ra trying to hold her back. And Dread Zeppelin being held up at the back of the pack, so she decides to call it off. She'll take what she's got. And it looks like it was a 14 points to 12. Oof, only 2 extra points out of that one for the Witches.
That was a long grinding jam and not much advantage gained. But long jam, the clock is going to start to come into play now. We're 17 minutes left to go in the half. Do the Witches have enough in front to hold on? Can they force some frustration to creep in on the Van Diemen Rollers? This is the momentum shift, perhaps, that we've been waiting for.
Trying to grind them down with the endurance run as well. Van Diemen's are having to work very hard to try and hold on as Lexa gets through for the lead, so maybe they're hoping just to wear the team down.
Locomotive now out, but it's a full half lap at least advantage. Oh yes, Lexa, big. Oh, she did. Oh, it was a nice step through, but she must have just landed off track.
Must have dragged one wheel through that inside line, so she's been sent for the cut track, giving Locomotive the lead on a... giving the power jam,
Yes.
We will have no lead. We will save the full 2 minutes. But this is sort of what the Witches are looking for with the time, though. It just depends on if their blockers can hold on to
And this is
Locomotive.
exactly what we're seeing here. Look at this. That is a solid 3-wall.
Beautiful bridge work as well, holding her.
And she is through successfully.
And
so out of play call up against number 73. That is Chainsaw. So
and Jack Spite being sent as well for an out of play call. So that works well to the advantage of Locomotive. She gets 2 blockers out of the way, but here comes Lexa for a big scoring pass.
Yep. And no way to call off the jam either. So Locomotive just having to go through, pick up her points.
Nada Ninetails trying to chase her down. Oh, wow. Lexa getting some super air and
a cut track. So air. Hi, meet the floor face first, and you got a cut track penalty.
Salt in the wound.
Yeah. So Loki Moldiv just cruising around. Yep, she can see she's just conserving her energy. She's timing it so that she can get one more scoring pass in before the end of the jam. Nice work on that on her behalf there.
Wow. Nata Ninetail's taking the big hit there from Jungle Muffin with a beautiful camera roll.
I think she played that one up for the judges. You know what I mean? Never. But it is Van Diemen's 18-4 on that jam. Wow. 191 plays 218. It's only 27 points.
Van Diemen's doing a fantastic job here.
And a timeout being called by the Witches.
Trying to bring their momentum back to their side.
Yep.
And yes, lowrider, what score gap? Exactly. Oh, we missed the call before. Come on, VDR. Zeppelins are made to come down. Ooh, too soon?
Too soon. What score gap? I'm loving this.
So Witches trying to slow it down, get it back in their side. I think we're going to see them doing a few fast jams, trying to rack those points up, trying to stretch that lead out a little bit. And they'll be hoping that their blockers... I think they're just going to keep skating and hope that their blockers can shut down the jammers for VDR.
Well, the thing is, if one thing's not working, then try something else. You know, if you do a few hit it and quit it jams, yes, you're just cycling through, but this is it, kids. If you are showing the difference between getting to the quarterfinals and going home, then it's all to play for. You can always eat some food, you can always catch a nap, but if you lose this one and it means you're not going through to the quarterfinals, then what have you done? You got to play for it. You got to go for it.
You got to change it up. If it's like you said, if it's not working, mix it up a little bit. Danger Mouse is trying to mix it up, working from one side of the track to the other, trying to find an opening. Lexa is back in amongst the action. But
Yep, Van Diemen Rollers blockers are waiting for her.
and Danger does have the lead.
Nata Ninetail's trying to lend a hand here, but wow, what a block that was. Zen Dogger, fantastic block.
Oh, and that is Morgana Le Fay now getting in on the action, throwing Lexa off track as well.
All these Van Diemen Rollers just contributing to their team. This is a wonderful performance in the second half so far.
Lexa has only just escaped on initial pass. So Danger Mouse going with the smart move, take the points and call it off.
Hold them scoreless. You got an 8-0 run. So now 199 plays 218. It's a 19-point gap.
This is getting really intense.
I'm loving this. This is fantastic. This is exactly what I sign up for when I come to these sorts of things. It's like you get your underdog, you've got your classic like underdog versus dominant, you get your comebacks. It's individual performances, it's team effort. This is awesome.
And Van Diemen's with the lead once again.
Yep, so that is Jungle Muffin up against Altered Skates. Altered Skates still trapped inside. Almost got through there and has picked up a penalty. So it is a power jam to the Van Diemen Rollers.
This is exactly what they were hoping for right now. The momentum is all on their side. Jungle Muffin charging around and heading straight into Cinderella, but does break free for the big 5-point pass.
Yeah, the Vic Witches just trying to hold on, chew up the clock as much as possible here. They're doing a great job so far. Every second wasted is another second their jammer has to get back on track. But Jungle Muffin, that was a nice pirouette through on the inside. She has got through on another 5-point pass as Altered Skates rejoins the track.
Oh, taking the big hit there from Cinderella and decides I'll take the points I've got and call it off. Oh, and Altered Skates on her re-entry was called for a cut track, so she's heading around to the penalty box. Van Diemen Rollers going to start on a power jam, and they have dragged that lead back down. There is 7 points in this.
And no more timeouts left for the Witches of East Vic.
Unless they use their official review, but do you want to hold on to that? Or do you throw it out there?
This could be important come the crunch time. If you've burned your official review on a timeout and you need it, I'm not sure I'd be doing that. So we're getting a power start. And they're sticking Morgana Le Fay on.
No. Bit of confusion there. The jam ref, I think, did go to send Morgana Le Fay.
I don't know what that was about, but okay. We are off and skating. Altered Skates back on track.
All right, so we have both jammers on track, no lead. And Morgana Le Fay did bust out and get the lead.
But now she's got to escape the pack. They were hunting her down. Was that a smile on her face?
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, good. I'm glad to see you having fun. That was a tough jam to break through.
Oh, Morgana Le Fay going with us, just trying to squeeze those hips around the outside. Just checking with the OPR, and no points.
But we've got 10 minutes left to play. Score unchanged. 2:18 plays 2:11. Which is in front.
No points gained, but no points lost. And at this stage, that's what VDR really want to do, is just keep shutting down the Witches. And it is going to be Danger Mouse head-to-head against Cupcakes.
Oh, awesome. Pocket Rocket. This is what I love. This is like two jammers of similar stature, similar skills. What can they do that's different? What can they do to give themselves that advantage?
Oh, we got 3 blockers apiece, and that is Dread Zeppelin throwing Danger Mouse off the track. Oh,
Cupcake looking for that outside line, on her knees and forced back. Both jammers being forced back now.
With 30 seconds into this jam, and we just have our lead, and that is Cupcake. This is what the Witches were looking for.
Danger Mouse also free, so about a third of a track advantage to Cupcake.
Now let's see if the Witches have changed their tactic. Oh, did get the call from the bench, I think, to call it, but didn't quite get the hands to the hips in time.
And Danger Mouse has touched the outside, so she is being yielded a long way. Cupcake finishes her first scoring pass, gets 4 points on the board.
Danger Mouse yielding, and Cinderella being called for the cut track, so she's heading to the penalty box as Cupcake comes through for another scoring pass and gets the 5 points.
And the call. So 9-4 advantage. It's now a 12-point lead. Witches of Eastwick 2:27, Van Diemen Rollers 2:15. 8 minutes 20 left in the game. And a timeout is called. It's an official's timeout.
I think we're just checking on the penalties. I believe we may, yes, Cinderella has left the game. She has fouled out. So we will have one of the other Witches. I'm sorry, can't really see at this exact moment, but we, I think it might be Jane Saw has stepped in there to take the penalty for Cinderella.
That's kind.
And looks like Witches of Eastwick, they've called a timeout. So they must be using their official review as their timeout, because they didn't have any timeouts left.
This has been a timeout called by East Vic.
I don't think they had a timeout left, but okay. The jam timer is now saying, no, let's get it on. So goodness knows what that was. They haven't used their official review. It's still sitting on the scoreboard. So we're now back with Derby. Altered Skates up against, is that 8-2?
It's Reckham
That's Reckham Reaney.
Altered Skates at the front, 2 VDR left. There was a no pack, so they're going to have to let it go. And she's got the lead. And Reckham Reaney called for the track cut, so she's got the long skate around to the penalty box as Altered Skates, comes powering around, slamming in. We've got 4 VDR blockers to 1 Witch of East Vic. But Altered Skates not going to let that stop her at all.
Oh, beautiful. Slamby, come on down. not doing the big recycle, opting to stay with her pack and just to make sure that they chew up that clock as much as possible.
Recamrini is standing and has been released.
Cut tracker call. And who was that against? That was against one of the blockers for VDR. There's a heart in the mouth there if you were the Witches of Eastwick.
Altered Skates herself looked up and just looked directly at her jam ref. Not me, please don't let it be me. She is clear to keep on skating. Oh, and speaking of clear, open laneway right through the inside line. And that is Recamrini only on her initial pass.
That's right. Witches of Eastwick bench just yelling as one. Call it, call it, call it.
Recamrini does squeeze the 2 points out, though.
She did. 2 sticky points, so 7-point advantage on that jam. 2:36 for the Witches of Eastwick. 2:17 for Van Diemen's. Have they done enough? 6 minutes, 20 seconds left in the game. There's still a lot of time left to go. 19
points. We did see a couple of 21-point jams earlier on, so nothing in that at all.
Nothing.
And it is Locomotive going head-to-head against Cupcake.
Oh, wow. Cupcake just shoves the beast to the ground.
And Locomotive gets the lead out in front for VDR. And gives a little wave to the crowd on the way around.
Hey, you got to acknowledge the supporters, people who've traveled a long way to see these girls play.
Taking the big hit from Billy Goat Ruff as Cupcake is just free of the pack.
And Loki is through, and she calls it wise, wise, wise.
Leaving blockers in her wake as she went through, though, just throwing them aside.
So 2:21, 2:36, 15-point game. And a timeout has been called by the Van Diemen Rollers. Interesting. Maybe not tactical, but maybe just this is the home stretch now. This is the championship end of the game.
Maybe not
good
the
coach,
best
good
tactics.
coach. No, but coaching move. You want to have all your players focused. You want to make sure maybe this is not about the Witches. This is about us.
Yeah, that's it.
We've got it all to play for. We're 15 points behind.
Get their heads in the game. At the end of the day, it might not even be the win-loss that it comes down to. It might be the points differential. So they just want to try and get that down. But there's still plenty of time left.
I'm not sure what the rest of the pool games have been like here.
No, there's still plenty of time left, though, for VDR. They're getting pumped down there. Big chance from their bench. There's still just over 5 minutes left to go.
Yeah, it sounds like
15 points
they're
in
focused.
15 points. 15 points.
That's nothing.
That is nothing. Jungle Muffin going head-to-head against Altered Skates. And clear penalty. Oh, no, we have, one VDR in the penalty box.
Here we go, Jungle Muffin, straight through the inside, and she is lead jammer for VDR. About a third of the pack in front of Altered Skates. Altered Skates getting the hammer down.
Oh, going fast. 2 points. 2 points. Just got to keep working away at that score. That's all they need to do. Just keep shutting down the Witches.
And a few more people have joined us here trackside. It's attracting a bit of a crowd. The word's got out. This is a game.
That's it. Few VDR fans coming to cheer for them now. They did start it as the underdogs, but they have really powered back here in this second half.
It's been magnificent. Timeout. Officials timeout. And just a very brief one. So
it looks like Raven Walher will leave us for the rest of this game.
All right. But Witches of Eastwick with the depth on the bench. They did have that depth advantage going into this game, so we'll see what they can do. Cupcake got recycled.
They did lose a blocker to that being called out of play, but it is to their advantage. So Danger Mouse does have the lead.
It's a full half-quarter track advantage now for Danger Mouse to go through and score. She does.
Looks to her bench. Did she call it off in time?
No. She got 3, so it's a 1-point advantage on that jam, which is of East Vic 239, 227 for Van Diemen's. It is 12 points.
We're sitting very close to the Witches bench here, and I can't hear exactly what they're saying, but there's a lot of excitement. They're like, oh my God, this is getting really intense, guys.
A lot of animation, yeah.
Keep it together. We got this. Jungle Muffin looking to change that and try and get the lead from Altered Skates. Oh, that inside line looked open for a second, and it got shut down very quickly.
Slamby up against Altered Skates right now. Altered Skates shrugging her off. Got a couple more blockers left to go. She's at the front, but here we go. Jungle Muffin around the outside. She has picked up lead jammer, and Altered Skates recycled to the back, so it is a clear scoring pass here for Jungle Muffin. Van Diemen Rollers, is this the jam?
Jungle Muffin is the captain for the Van Diemen Rollers, and she is pushing hard.
She's through.
She's got the big 5 in the sky.
Oh my God, here we go. Again, Altered Skates being held by the Van Diemen Rollers beautifully here. This is a wonderful wall. And it is a cut track penalty against Altered Skates. It has been forced. So not only is it a power jam, it's now going to become a power start. So an 8-0 run for Van Diemen's. They are now 4 points behind. It is a power start for Van Diemen's. Holy cow.
Jungle Muffin did call that jam off. I don't think she quite realized that she had just achieved getting the power jam, but that's okay. Locomotive down, head full of steam, ready to charge off. She is going to take this power jam and try and eat it up. She does have the disadvantage, but she is through with the lead.
And the crowd just showing the love right now. They are loving the competition. They're loving this come from behind effort here by the Van Diemen Rollers.
Oh, Locomotive doing the Kylie Minogue saying, do the locomotion with me.
And the crowd is getting into it. It is a 5-point pass. The Van Diemen Rollers have hit the lead. It's the end of the jam. Altered Skates is released from the bin, and it is a 1-point lead to the Van Diemen Rollers. We are 1 minute, 20 seconds left to go in the game. Oxygen.
Cupcake just yelled from the line. She's got the star on, ready to rock and roll. She goes, no pressure! No pressure!
Timeout.
Official timeout called. Official timeout.
Yep, something. What's going on?
Looks like maybe the penalty bench just doing a double check on a few things. Oh, and the Witches decide to take advantage of that and do a jammer change. Cupcake was like, I was ready to go, coach. But Lexa taking the star instead to go
Give me the ball,
head
coach.
with
Give me the
Jungle
ball.
Muffin. All right, we have had our penalty trackers just checking everything's all in the right spots.
Yeah,
I mean, it's getting so tight.
Look,
You want to...
It's a smart move from the officials as well. They want to make sure everything is ship-shape heading into the end of this game. Good move. 3
blockers apiece. Lexa just charging off that line, trying to get that lead. Jungle
Slamby.
Muffin.
Slamby. Big block from Slamby. That is possibly the block of the game. Lexa at the back of the pack. And Jungle Muffin lead.
Slamby and Lexa were just going absolutely toe-to-toe. Slamby does end up with the forearm penalty heading to the box. And getting the quick call off there, shutting down Lexa. Jungle Muffin did get the 2 points on the board. They now have a 3-point lead for the Van Diemen Rollers. And we have an official review called by the Witches. And I'm going to go out and check out what's happening.
Yes, please do. So I suspect this is probably a timeout, but even so, we are 26 seconds left to go on the clock. This is definitely going to be the final jam. It is a timeout. So the Witches of East Vic want the time to talk about it. They want to get their final play sorted out. Cupcake was all set to go. She is 10 out of 10 for effort. But they are going to stick on dreads. Give me the ball, coach. Look, say what you will about anything going on in this game. That embodies that can-do spirit. Every player has shown it here. Every player has said, give me the ball, coach.
And this is exactly why you just keep skating. You never give up. I mean, they were down by nearly
70 points. Pretty much 70 points at halftime.
And look at this. They've dragged it back. They now have a 3-point lead. And this will be the last jam of the game.
It is down to this. Slight pack advantage to the Witches of Eastvic. There is one blocker in the bin for VDR.
Dred Zeppelin cobbling a massive hit there from Z-Beast, who does it with the penalty. Dred has the lead. Witches of Eastwick have the lead. Locomotive trying to fight out of the pack still.
VDR going to the penalty box. Blocker in the penalty box of VDR.
Dred gets through on the scoring pass. And the bench says, call it off. 5 points, that's all she needed. That's all she needed.
What a game. What a game.
Oh my goodness. VDR, be so proud of your skaters. They left everything on the track.
They've left
down to one of the skaters. They've left her out there as well. Oh,
that is, I think
that's Zen Dogger there just
Dogger
going
on the track.
I gave that my absolute everything, and wow, we have the Van Diemen Rollers 242 points, Witches of Eastvic 244 points.
What a game.
That was phenomenal.
That is quite possibly the game of the tournament so far, I reckon, Psycho. We have been absolutely privileged. I'm going to take my hat off. Van Diemen Rollers and Eastvic Roller Derby, thank you so much for coming on and giving us an absolute showcase bout. This is Champagne Derby.
Absolutely blessed with some beautiful derby here this morning. Let's give the teams a run through. I mean, they have left everything out on that track. They deserve it. Go with the Van Diemen Rollers first. We have 10-10 Zen Dogger, 112 Jungle Muffin, 131 Grazed Anatomy, 309 Morgana Lefay, 333 Danger Mouse, 420 Roller Doobie, number 5 Loki Motive, 64 Slamby, 666 Z Beast, number 8 Beautiful, 82 Recamarini, 881 5 Foot, and on the benches we had Bat Mangled, Dinosaur, Diane Radford, and Meg Ahern.
And your victors today collecting their high fives from the crowd. Eastvic Roller Derby, the Witches of Eastvic, 09 Nato Ninetails, 10 Cinderella, 100 Lexa, 12 Altered Skates, 13 Mad Downer, 16 No Love Ninja, 1617 Raven Waller, 3 Billy Goat Rough, 351 Push Up Ra, 55 Cupcake, 666 Spawn of Skatin', 68 Dred Zeppelin, 7 Jack Spite, 71 Pushy Tat, 73 Jane Saw, Benchies Beth, Eve, Elena, Claire, and Bubblegum Blitz. My name is Pants and I'm exhausted.
I'm Psycho Darko, and thank you so much everybody for joining us online. Be very proud of yourselves, VDR. That was an amazing, amazing game, and we'll catch you guys next time.